Okay, great. Hi, everybody. This is Peggy with B Green Realty, and I'm also on the board of directors for Florida Green Building. Thank you for joining us for this Lunch and Learn webinar. These webinars are provided by the Florida Green Building Coalition, otherwise known as FGBC. Let me pull this up. Like I said, my name is Peggy Chris. I am the co-chair of the Realty Appraiser and Builder Outreach Committee, which is one of the committees for Florida Green Building. I'm also on the board for Florida Green Building Coalition, and I am a green realtor. Our committee's goals is to provide these free webinars as a way to help build FGBC's membership and reach. There are a few things I'd like to mention before we begin. The recording of this webinar will be available on the FGBC's website and our YouTube channel. And that's good to know for anybody that's missing this. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, as this will help us reach more people. You are all muted, so please ask questions in the Q&A and not in the chat. Please complete the survey at the ends, because this gives us results to help us plan future webinars. Now, about FGBC, Florida Green Building Coalition is a nonprofit dedicated to improving the built environment. Our mission is to lead and promote sustainability with environmental, economic, and social benefits. We do this through regional education and certification programs. Please consider becoming a member. Some of the benefits are listing on the FGBC website, on an online database, networking with more like-minded professionals, and there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. Poll. I'm going to take a poll, so I'd like to see if you could tell us, how did you find out about this webinar today? You can just check and submit. Okay. All right, that's good. That's good. For today's webinar, we're going to learn about the FGBC green certification process from a certifying agent. Tim McElduff is a green analyst and consultant at 15 light years. He helps clients achieve FGBC green certification for single and multifamily projects. 15 light years is a member of the FGBC and provides builders and owners clean energy solutions, as well as test, verify, and certify new construction projects with the goal of higher performance and greater energy savings. Please join me. Oh, did I miss out on telling you about? I might have. Anyway, please welcome me in joining and bringing Tim on. Tim, thank you so much. And let's see, do I need to stop the webinar?
Nope, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Tim will just take over. Thank you.
All righty. Hello, everyone. I'm Timothy McElduff. I'm a FGBC certifying agent. Just making sure. All right, can we see the presentation?
You're good, Tim.
Yes.
Alrighty. I'm Timothy McElduff. I'm a certifying agent. I work with 15 light years to do FGBC certification. And a little just overview. I know we went over it. It's a nonprofit. It's a point-based program that looks at energy performance, water conservation, site conditions, home health, materials, and disaster mitigation. This is just an example of what an FGBC certificate will look like once you go through all the site visits and submittals and you get your final certification. The benefits of green certification, there's actually an increase in resale value. So it's about 3 to 6% if you are green certified. That's the source on Build It Green. And then you have lower operating costs. So with everything going up, at the grocery store everywhere, it's better to have an energy efficient home so you're not spending more on your electric bill. And green certified buildings on average had a 19% lower operating cost than a typical standard home. Excuse me, can't get rid of that. So why get FGBC specifically certified? There are other national programs, but FGBC is designed with Florida's climate in mind and the various trials and tribulations we have with hurricanes and flood risks. So FGBC awards points for practices that mitigate hurricane and flood risk, and it also helps alleviate water supply concerns since so many people are moving to the wonderful state of Florida with our sunny weather. But our aquifers are getting depleted. So if we use low flow appliances and low flow faucets and stuff of that nature, we can help conserve water, and that will help everyone out. And another reason is the low certification cost. It can be as low as $75. And there's few mandatory practices. So with other, so it gives a flexible program for builders and owners to implement in their homes, because other programs have pretty stringent practices that you have to implement, and it can be quite costly to do. And FGBC doesn't have those exact mandatory requirements. There are 8 categories plus the prerequisites. There's energy efficiency, water efficiency, lot choice, site location, health, materials, disaster mitigation, and then a general section. What types of projects can be certified? So there's single family, new renovation or existing, high-rise residential, commercial buildings, land development, and green local governments. So I know Manatee County was just renewed as platinum a few months ago, and then Babcock Ranch, which is in Punta Gorda, got some national coverage after it fared so well after Hurricane Ian hit, and there's very minimal damage and power loss, and that is an FGBC certified community. The certification level, this is down to what the client wants. So some of our clients shoot all the way for platinum and go for the highest certification level and use that for their marketing. And some clients, maybe they're building in an FGBC required community or local government, and they just go for bronze or silver where it's required. These are just some key aspects that I like to highlight are the energy efficiency that getting Florida Green certified will give you. You can, they award points for all these things, so it's not mandatory, but implementing them will help your score and help your home be green. So if you have efficient landscape, efficient plants, right plant, right location, and low flow fixtures, for your healthier homes, they award points for having low VOC finishes, paints and stains. They award points for having mechanical ventilation to bring fresh air into the home, and award points for MERV filters, which are all things that will help your home be healthy with people working from home now and living a lot more in their house. That helps you. And then disaster mitigation, like I said, they award points for hurricane, flood, fire, mold, and termite prevention. And with the hurricanes we get here and with the heavy rainfall, it will help the longevity of your home and also give you that peace of mind next time a hurricane comes through. And then the more the meat and bones of everything, we have 3 prerequisites that you have to pick one of, and then you have to earn a total of 100 points. There's a category minimum that you can hit and a category maximum that you can hit. For the minimum, you don't necessarily need to meet the minimum. Let's say you only make 10 points in the water category, you have to make up those additional points in another category to get to the 100-point minimum. So it's flexible in that sense where maybe the contractor or the owner forgot to document or didn't have documentation. There's always ways to get to the certification point minimum. The prerequisites, you have to pick one of each of the following. Just if you have a pool system, you have to have a sanitation system that reduces chlorine use or a pool cover. Those are the 2 most common I see. And then waterfront, a lot of homes are on man-made bodies of water, so this doesn't come into effect a lot, but if you're beachfront or on a natural lake, you have to do one of the following to just mitigate risks of water intrusion onto the property. And then invasive toxic species. So we don't want to be installing invasive species into the landscape because that'll negatively impact the environment and the native plants. So existing and remodel home certification, they are exempt from the 3 prerequisites, and they're also exempt from the category minimums. But you still have to get to 100 points, and you have to achieve 13 points in the remodel section and you have to achieve a HERS score of 80 or less. And then the other things you can implement are low flow faucets, upgrading your irrigation system, upgrading your pool system, and improving your roof to wall connection just for hurricane preparedness. And then the first steps to take are find a certifying agent. There is a list of all the certifying agents in Florida on FGBC's website, or you can talk to me. I'm also a certified agent. And you can also, the next step would be sending all your documentation, such as your architectural plans, energy calcs, landscaping plans, your various appliance specification sheets, your paints, stuff of that nature. And then we will review all of that, make a preliminary spreadsheet, FGBC checklist. Maybe it makes some recommendations if you're trying to get to platinum or trying to get to gold, or and then you can either implement those or we can work together to get you certified. And then the next would be inspection. So if it's a new build, we would do a pre-drywall inspection before, so we can evaluate the installation and other FGBC categories, so we can get you the points for that. And then the final, where we would do your blower or duct leakage if it's a new building. And then we would still do that for the remodeled homes for getting your HERS score. And then finally, once we complete all the inspections and get all the documentation from you, we review it, we submit it for FGBC review, and then we'll get your certification back. And then you're certified. Submittals, there are some required submittals. So we'll need a permit, some photos of the house exterior, some floor plans, landscaping plans, and irrigation plans, and plant list. A lot of this is already in your the total architectural plans, but it doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Like I have landscaping plans, a lot of the time they're hand drawn, and that's totally fine. And then other submittals, some are mandatory to be submit when you are getting your house certified. So they're highlighted and red on the spreadsheet, just so you know. So if you're claiming points for S1.01, maximizing tree survivability, we'll need a submittal for that. And then this is just what a HERS score looks like. So once we go and do the energy testing on your home, we'll give the final inspection results to an analyst. They'll put it and model it for you. And it just shows just the general specs of the home and what your annual savings relative to an average home will be. And then it gives it a score. And the lower the score, the better. And then we're just gonna go over the checklist really quick. So this is just the summary of the entire FGBC checklist. So as you go down, you can see what was claimed points for and what wasn't claimed points for, the category minimum, see we've met the minimum, and so on and so forth. So if you're trying to sell a home or buy a home that is FGBC certified, there will be a checklist for every home. I know we at 15 Light Years keep everything on file going back years and years. So say you're buying a home and the homeowner wasn't aware or no longer had the checklist on them, you can go ahead and go on FGBC's website and it lists the certifying agent and their email, and then you can go email them and ask for that. And I know we would have it on file, but that's an option. So you wouldn't have to go through the whole process again. But yeah, this is just the checklist, and it's just a condensed version of the entire checklist going down. Because going through each chapter can get a little bit overwhelming for those who aren't used to going through massive Excel spreadsheets. And that's just a little overview of the program, how to get it done. If we have any questions.
Yeah, Tim, one of them says, what does it mean? What does maximum tree survivability mean?
Yeah, so this is another great thing I like about the checklist. So if you go to site and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do for that. So you need a survey of the property, accidental cutting. You need to construct barricades to protect the trees, protect the root ball of the tree. So it gives you exactly what you'll need to be doing. It's mostly just barricading the tree and making sure if trimmings need to be done, it's done by a certified professional. And because if you're doing root pruning, it can kill the tree if it's done improperly. So it's just making sure that it's done by a certified professional and you're maximizing tree survivability.
Yeah, so you know, this is why it's important. See, I'm in an area, Lakewood Ranch mandates green. So these certifications that Tim's going over with us are given to every home out there. And that's why when people come up to me and say, and we greened our MLS back in 2011, we had 40 panelists that were involved in that and through all phases of sustainability. We had 17 pages of definitions that we came up with to use for the MLS. The majority were based on this green certification. And so that's why when people come up and say, what makes this house green? Every green certified home could be different because they may have elected to take different categories. They may have pumped up on their landscaping. They may have pumped up on their, you know, there's different categories. And so I'm hoping that agents, realtors, and brokers will use this as for lunch and learns, and because they need to kind of get familiar with this because this is what each of these homes should have. So when I list a piece of property out at Lakewood Ranch, I ask the first question is where do they have the green certification? If they don't, Florida Green Building Coalition now has access on their website to finding a home, what is certified, what level of certification it received. So does Green Building Registry. You can also go through them and get the green certification. But I would get that green certification. I'd ask the homeowner if they've made any changes, because if you change anything, you may lose points. The thing that's nice about these green certifications, if you have the lowest level of green certification, you can enhance it. And like I was telling you, in real estate, our value in real estate, the value of our land is going to be based on how our little footprints are, how sustainable they are. So anybody, whether they have a green certified home, should strive to start going energy efficient and take advantage of the retrofit program. Tim, do you do the retrofit certification?
We just started with a new client who they do luxury vacation rentals, and they are building new homes and also have homes that are currently being rented out. So we are in the process of getting into the homes in between renters to do our testing, getting all of our pictures taken, getting the cut sheets sent to us. But yeah, we just started doing the.
Okay, I've got some questions from Susan on non-invasive plants, and I'm going to get back to you, Susan. We've got another question. How does the HERS score relate to what our utility company might evaluate or score for home weatherization or energy efficiency?
They're probably going to be looking at very similar things. I'm sure if you were to give them a HERS score, they would know exactly what they were looking at. Because like if Duke comes out and does an energy evaluation, they're looking at how new your windows are, what kind of R value your insulation is, and things of that nature. So they would probably know, but it's basically very similar to what they would do.
And how do we get the word out about your service? Tim's got his email on the bottom of the screen to let you guys know. Now going back to Susan, Susan is asking, FGB ought to require Florida native plant societies, native plant community preservation or native plant landscaping policies. No non-invasive, no non-native invasive plants should be allowed. I don't really know how that will fit into the green certification, although it's a good.
So Peggy, I'll take that one.
Okay,
for Suzanne, if you go to our, and this is for everyone on the call, actually, if you go to our website, since we are a nonprofit, all of our reference guides and all of our checklists are available to the general public. So if you go to our website, floridagreenbuilding.org, and you pull up the home standard, for instance, and you pull up that page, there's a reference guide and there's a checklist. The checklist has all the points associated with the certification process. We do award points for Florida-friendly landscaping. We try to be as inclusive as possible, so we rarely ever ban anything, but we do provide points for Florida-friendly landscaping, non-invasive species. And so if you take a look at the standard, you'll see some more information on what our points allow and don't allow.
Okay. And then we got another guy that wanted to know, how does FGBC compare with Energy Star certified home? Apples and oranges. FGBC is more comprehensive. If you take a look at the checklist, it covers a whole variety of areas. I'm thinking the Energy Star certified is based on the appliances. Is that, am I correct, CJ or Tim?
They look at similar things. Energy Star is for your bath fans, for example, your bath fans have to be tested. And that's just one of the things yet, comparing the two. We do actually have a lot of clients that end up with doing both, because the more the merrier. The more green certifications you get, the more people are interested. But Energy Star is a national program, so they do have to consider that there are some homes being built in Alaska and some homes being built in Florida. And even within Florida, like there's Tallahassee, and then there's also Miami. So the different climate zones of Florida allows FGBC to be more specialized, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'll add that Energy Star is primarily dealing with energy, and as where the FGBC program is deals with health, water, disaster mitigation, several other components of green building. So it's a little bit different. The program, though, does award points for Energy Star certification. So if you do have an Energy Star certified home, you will get points towards the FGBC certification.
It said a building envelope question. What is the preferred residential home wall system for platinum? What R value is targeted?
So if you want this this wall system that was built by a company that we work with, they do ICF, and that their R value was 22, and they get platinum, but it's not necessarily linked. I mean, the HERS score matters for FGBC, but it's not necessarily a straight number. It's more as what number do you need to get a high enough or low enough HERS score to maximize the 75 points for FGBC. So it really comes down to your HERS score, and that home that was platinum had an R22. I've also seen homes that get platinum or gold that are R13. Like, just depends on other factors as well.
See, part of, Tim, when we greened the MLS, part of the requirement that we had was that agents attach the certification, the actual certification telling what level they were certified, and that checklist. Mm-hmm. And you know, I would hope the biggest thing to take away from this is that third-party certification, how important that is, because even from agents, from a disclosure, you're having a third party come in and verify what's in this house. And these Florida Green Building Coalition is trying to work with the property appraisers throughout the state of Florida on getting a possible exemption for green. Like we enjoy homestead exemption, we'd enjoy a sustainability exemption. So these third-party certifications are really important that everybody start getting on board, making sure they have them. I mean, when I run into people at Lakewood Ranch, I always talk to them, did you get your certification? If they didn't, I make sure that they get a copy of it so that they understand this is something you should be kind of monitoring. Start yourself a green folder in your homes. And anytime you're doing updates, even on a green certified home, if you're increasing that value, stick it in that folder. And if you go to sell the home, then bring FGBC or Tim in and let them recertify your home for what you've done to enhance that green certification. And so that's what I'm hoping for. And like I said, we're in an area down here that mandates it. Every home that's sold out at Lakewood Ranch is green certified. And so when I do a search for green certification right now, I'm lucky if I have one that comes up and acknowledges that they're green certified and they don't have the certification attached. So now we have resources in place for brokers and agents through the Green Building Registry or through FGBC's website that allow you to find out if that home is green certified. And it really, if you can't find it, I always tell agents, I'd be more than happy to help you. I'm at Peggy@peggychris.com. send me a note. I'll get you your certification. I'll even go over it with you. But this is where our, like I said, our value will be in the future. I did get a question from Ryan. If I become a certifying agent, can you give me an example of how the relationship works with communicating with the architect and builder, as this potentially impacts the architect's drawings and material chosen by the builder? Oh yeah. Take it away, Tim.
Yeah, so we do this all the time when having a new client come on. What we do is we take what they're building. If it's a bigger builder, we take their current plans, what they're currently building. We take a look at their architectural plans, their energy calcs, their landscaping plans, and a lot of them typically have like a finish schedule. So that'll also show all their appliances, their paint selections, and then say we need a couple other submittals. I'll email them, ask them, get those back. We will go ahead and send all this information to one of our HERS analysts. They will give us a projected HERS score, which is not a certified HERS score. It just gives you an idea of the HERS score the home will receive, and then we'll go from there. So say they want to get platinum and their HERS score is decent, like 60, and then we'll say, okay, so since this is your projected HERS score and you want to go for platinum, we'll take these 10 things, and we typically pick the things that are the most cost effective or the most valuable implementation into the home that will bring in buyers. And we'll say, hey, if you implement these 10 things, and a lot of it is finishes. So a lot of it is, oh, you're installing 2.5 gallons per minute shower heads. Whereas if you put in a low flow shower head, you can get these extra points, and you can also say, hey, your water bill will be lower for the home buyer. So it just comes down to looking over the plans, and a lot, and just it's a lot of finishes and just things they choose to do. So if they're doing like a pest treatment plan, or like if they're doing a erosion control plan, things of that nature, then we just review those too, and just let them know. It's just like letting them know what where they stand as built, and then what they can do to improve the home to get to the FGBC certification level they desire.
Okay, and then Hans says, does a low HERS score equal a net zero home? And before you answer that, Tim, a net zero is nothing. It's zero at the bottom of that HERS rating that Tim showed you earlier. I know there's one here in town, Hunters Point, that is platinum certified, net zero. And so Tim, you address that one.
So yeah, it is. They are not the same. Net zero is a lot more difficult to achieve than just getting a decent HERS score. There are quite a few checklists that you have to implement. You have to be pre-wired for solar. You have to have a design for the house. If you're not installing solar right away, there's a lot of different things. So they're definitely not the same, but you do get points for having a zero energy ready home
Right.
for FGBC. So if it's ready for it and it's not technically certifiable, you can achieve points for FGBC.
Yeah, that the one that Hunters Point I mentioned is a LEED certified platinum, but Florida Green Building Coalition focuses on what we deal with Florida climate. That's why it's unique and so easy for people. You know, our codes are such, like in Manatee County and Sarasota. Manatee County is platinum certified in green, government agency, unbelievable accomplishment. Sarasota is gold, but our codes are such that if you build anything, you could qualify for a baseline certification. And if I was building a new home, I would bring Tim in and have that home certified, because then you can start off, you can start off with a base, and then anything you do to enhance that home just will build on the level of the certification, which I think, like I said, how your little footprint, how sustainable your little footprint is where we're going to have our value in the future. And that's a given. It's not something, you know, that's why I'd like everybody to jump on board. Do we have any other
Peggy,
questions?
we did miss one from Dee. She was curious as to how Tim would get the word out regarding the certification.
Yeah, so when we are working with a new client, if they choose, you can get yard signs to show that your home is going to be green certified. At the end of certification, we do have a client that the vacation rental that they are getting plaques on every single one of their homes that they will display in the front showing this home is FGBC certified. I haven't heard back if they're going to be putting the level that they're getting on it or not, but it will just show this home is FGBC green certified. That's one way. If you're running a vacation rental business, Airbnb, it shows that these homes are energy efficient. And a lot of people who are on vacation are going to want to know that their homes are having a minimal impact on the environment and minimal energy usage. Another way you can get it out, I mean, about your specific home, you can buy that plaque if you're doing it. If you're a real estate agent, you can list it in the listing. One of our clients lists their home's FGBC Platinum in every single listing. They're not even in a green local government. They just do it for marketing purposes. And they put it on their website. They market it very heavily, and they sell their homes because of it.
Oh yeah. I had a client from France that hit me on my website, and they flew in. They wanted to buy green certified homes. They bought a resale out at Lakewood Ranch. The owner didn't know anything about what they'd gotten. The thing, let me tell you something about 15 light years though. They are fantastic about going over their certifications with the end user. And that's what I'd like to see all certifying agents do. Ensure that the end user is getting that green certification so that it's not something that these people, like this home I sold to this couple from France, the owner didn't even know they had a green certified home. So we got it, we gave them the list, we had them verify that they'd made no changes, and the buyer's happy, and so is the seller was surprised.
Yeah,
But
for some of our clients, we produce a green addendum packet that has all their green certifications, and they print it out and laminate it very nicely, and it's given to the buyer once the sale goes through. And then they have everything nice and laminated. They have their FGBC, their HERS, all their other certifications. They also do Florida friendly landscaping and a couple other things.
Well, and that's a good thing to bring up, because you know, people, particularly brokers and realtors, are used to not being able to control who does appraisals on their homes. Like the banks mandate who they turn it over to a management company. Well, it's not like that with green. You can ask for a green appraiser, somebody that's qualified in appraising sustainable properties. In fact, Sandra Adamatis was on our committee when we greened the MLS. She's the vice president of the Appraisal Institute. She teaches green appraisals. You can go to her website to find green appraisers. But these addendums, and I believe I've attached that to the MLS, but I do when I list a green property. The addendums are prepared, would be great, by the certifying agent or the builder. And those addendums are used to give to the appraiser so that you're getting credit for all the different features. Because these green certified homes are not only more sustainable, less maintenance, they're healthier homes. So somebody that has allergies like me or asthma, major difference, major difference. There's a question, can an apartment be certified even if there's no control over the landscaping nor the common areas?
No, I mean, it has to be on a per building basis. So it would include every single unit in the apartment complex. So it would be something that would be done either if the building owner would like that, or if it's like an HOA type thing where the HOA owns the building. I'm not quite sure about that, but it would be the entire building as a whole, not just one unit.
Yeah, like Lakewood Ranch, is the whole master development is green certified because they have dedicated land over, and CJ, you'll have to recap what they had to do, but it's different. I mean, the apartments, they've all got to be on board. You can't do individuals.
So the apartments would fall within our multifamily standard. So it's within our home standard, but it's the multifamily. So there are slight differences with the multifamily, but it is certifiable. Yes. And just, I was trying to answer this question online for Suzanne Kennedy regarding the Florida Friendly Landscaping and the Florida Native Plant Society. FGBC is an open format, so if you do have a suggestion on what we should use, if you can go to our website, floridagreenbuilding.org, if you pull up the home standard, there's a spot in there where you can make a request to change the standard, or an addition. You can make an addition. So you've got a suggestion here to use this Florida Native Plant Society. You can go ahead and do a standard request form to submit that to the committee for them to consider adding that to the standard. So I would suggest going ahead and do that.
Yeah, and our MLS down here covers more than 1/3 of the state of Florida. And when we went green back in 2011, there's two, Albert Worcester with Worcester and Company. He's a broker down in Sarasota, and myself on a regular basis touch base with our MLS to make sure that we've got different fields that need to be added to enhance it to. Suzanne, I can look in to see what we've got down on the landscaping. And I'll follow up with Tim on what can be done with landscaping, maybe enhance our fields for that. But that's why I say you can pump a lot of money into your landscaping on a residential certification that maybe your next door neighbor didn't. I mean, each home is different.
Mm-hmm.
But Suzanne, thanks for all your input here. It's great.
Peggy, I'm just going to go really quick to show folks on the call how they can access our information. Since this is our homepage, floridagreenbuilding.org. If you go to certifications, it'll bring up all of our standards. Today we've been discussing homes. So if you go to our home standards, here is our checklist, which has all the points associated with our version 12 of the standard. There's also a reference guide that pulls up an in-depth explanation as to each of the credits and what's the submittals for each of those. And then you've got here, Suzanne, this is specific to your request. This is a modification request. This modification request will allow you to submit it to the Homes Committee for consideration of a change to the standard.
Yeah, and there's also a reference. There's a realtor page on our website too that also gives you, like, people that are interested in retrofitting. I have an older home built in the 50s. So that's what I'm focused on when I do any updates in my home. And it gives you a retrofit program there. You can also reach out to Tim and see what you can do, with regards to that. Here's your website for the realtors resources, green builders, certified green appraisers, Florida Green Building brochures, retrofit program brochure, which is really nice because Lee doesn't have retrofit. And then your National Association of Realtors Green Realtor designation, if you're interested in getting that, which I think is really good. And I think there should be one in each office, broker's office. But more importantly, I think that I'm hoping that even the brokers decide, let me be a member of FGBC so that that will be a resource for all of their associates that are under them, that they have access to anything that they want on this. If the agents don't do an individual, join as a member individually. But there's just so much that's involved in it. And this, like I said, this lunch and learn kind of gives everybody different things in detail. But I've been wanting, and I'm so happy, Tim, that you came on board. And if you guys have questions on the green certification, reach out to Tim. You can also reach out to me too. Let me see if I've got any more questions. Suzanne, I think I should ask you to become on our committee. That would be great. Thank you for the walkthrough through the checklist and the modification request form. That's good. And are some of the Florida Green builders custom house builders?
Mm.
I am
Yeah.
planning to build a new house on 18 acres of native forested upland in eastern Florida. Wow, love it. I also am seeking materials to stabilize the driveway without laying any.
Yeah, once again, to go to our website, if you go to search, you can do professional services, and you can look up builders that are specific to your area. You can also look up certifying agents here, and this is just a search feature that's all of our membership. So,
Suzanne, please join us again. I'd love to have you on our committee. Like I said, we do this every month on different topics. This one here, I think, is important because we've got more areas that are mandating it, like Babcock Ranch. If anybody wants to jump down to Babcock, more sustainable during hurricane. They had a great, they did really well during our past hurricane. Let me see if we got any more questions.
we got another comment about the builders link. So if you just go up to the search feature on our webpage, this is the home page. You go to search. You can go to project search, which will allow you to, as Peggy mentioned, to figure out if a home is certified or not. It'll be, you can do a project search by city, by county, by address. You can also do a professional services page, a professional services search, which is for all of our members. So if you notice, there'll be builders, general contractors are located in there. You can do a search. It'll pull up, you can either search by city or zip code, or you can just pull up the whole entire list. We also have certifying agent search as well. That didn't work.
We had an anonymous, I'm looking at making 4 houses nestled into the native Florida land that my husband and I purchased. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I would love you to keep in touch with us and let us know. Maybe we can feature you. That's fabulous idea. And the value, like I said, will come back to you. So does anybody else? I think I've addressed everybody's questions. I really appreciate everybody getting on for this. Like I said, if you have any questions that you might not have asked us, Tim is available. I'm available. I'd be delighted to touch base with you and go into more detail. And like I said, keep us up to date on those native Florida homes. In Florida, I would love to have more developers doing that. And I would like all the developers, Lakewood Ranch, Babcock, to brag about what they're doing. This is good value for anybody that's buying green certified homes. Does anybody else have any question? I've got something in the chat. What is the cost to become a certifying agent?
So once again, if you go to our website here, if you go to certifying agents, it'll pull up a list of requirements. The upfront cost is you'll need to take a course at the Florida Solar Energy Center. And then there's pretty much a breakdown of everything you'll need to do. If you click on how to become a certifying agent, it's got all the costs and requirements that are associated with that.
And then use our, go on this webinar will be on our website. So you can do a lunch and learn, replay it for anybody, for brokers, replay it for your associates. There's a list of them that we've done, upcoming ones. We're going to be doing one with Sandra Adamatis with the Appraisal Institute, which will be interesting on this green addendum. We just got done doing one on WaterStar, which is another certification that's really outstanding and I plug all the time. But anyway, there's a list of resources that you can use, and you can learn from all these resources on an explanation of anything green. I always tell people, if you cut me, I bleed green, and I'd like everybody to be that way. Let me see if we have any more questions. What kind of poured concrete walls are green certifiable? Oh, wow, that's a good one.
I mean, in terms of just FGBC, I mean, pretty much anything you want.
Yeah.
You can get points if you have, that might just be for foundations. I know you can get points if it's 18% fly ash in your concrete. But for other types, if it's like the aerated concrete, I know that can add to your R value, and it's all very dependent.
And they said, is it integrated concrete construction acceptable? I'm not quite sure what that is.
So in those specific, once again, if you go to our homepage and you go to the homes, what you'll do is if you pull up this checklist, it'll give you all the points associated with what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. But if you go to materials, there's a whole materials section. It'll give you all the points associated with what materials you can use within the framework of the home. And then if you still need additional information, you can go to our reference guide.
Let me see. I think I've addressed everybody's questions. There is a survey at the end of this that I'd like you all to take because it kind of gives us an idea of where we can, what programs we can have down the road, or if you'd like a repeat on this. Tim, I really appreciate your time. I really do, because it's hard to get you green certified. You're doing so well to mark off time for us, but I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that can't jump on this, that are green minded, obviously. So I love it. And you do get credits for heaven for that. And CJ, do you have anything?
Nope, just thanks to everybody for coming. And if you need any help, we're always available here at the office. And once again, if you just visit our website, you'll find all of our contact information.
Okay, everybody's great. I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me make sure. I think I just got it. Somebody else's comment. Please repeat your names. Okay, so Timothy, you can tell them what your email is and contact.
I'm Timothy McElduff. I work for 15 Light Years. My email is tmcElduff@15lightyears.com. You can also email greenbuilding@15lightyears.com. That's a little bit easier to remember. I can put it, I think I can put it in the chat. I guess I can't because I'm a moderator. I'll put it in the chat so people can see.
I'll put mine in the chat also. I'm Peggy, and I am I'm board of directors for Florida Green Building Coalition. I'm also the governing chair for U.S. Green Building Council, Sarasota, and Mayaca division. I am nationally certified in green. And like I said, if you cut me, I bleed green. And I'll put my contact down there also. And again, everybody, thank you for giving us some of your time. I hope you learned something from this. Call me if you have any questions. Call Tim if you have any questions. And keep in touch. I'll be putting it on Facebook, our next one coming down for anybody wanting to jump on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.